Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Jonathan Mathis. They call me the sports judge. And with that, I say court is now back in session. Hope you guys had a great day. It's Friday. Yay. It's also March Madness. We got plenty of basketball today, all weekend. You might know this is one of my favorite times of the year. When you flip the calendar to March, what do you have? NFL free agency. It was absolutely bananas. Really couldn't expect anything less. You have college basketball. And I know we have our complaints about the selection committee, the game itself, the landscape of the sport, and all that. But it doesn't change the fact that it's still arguably the best tournament in all of sports. And you can argue that nothing comes close to March Madness. This is the life I live. Just so you know how geeky I am about college basketball this time of year. It's a great time. A lot of good basketball to watch. The excitement of the tournament comes from not knowing who's going to win. It's very unpredictable. We already filled it out just to watch it get blown up on day one, our brackets, that is. But that's the beauty of it, right? It's fun to fill out a bracket and see what happens in what is usually a wild and crazy tournament filled with drama, ecstasy, and suspense. And then, of course, there's the finality of it all for the teams that don't win. The feeling of agony, the agonizing part of it all is getting there and losing in any round. The exhilarating part of it all is advancing every weekend. It's on the road to the Final Four. That's everybody's ultimate goal. This is why March Madness is a must. It's one of the most unique American sports experiences that we have. So the other thing I want to talk about here are the Duke Blue Devils, a prominent basketball program, an ACC school that I believe can make a deep run. I got Duke going to the Final Four. The team is a number one seed for a reason. This particular year, Duke has a headline superstar and the easiest path to the Final Four. And I think we can all agree that if Cooper Flagg, the potential number one overall pick in June's NBA draft, shows up and balls out, Duke can easily make it to the Final Four. And they can easily make it out of this region. So my initial gut reaction when I saw the bracket is Duke just got to play Duke brand basketball, and they're good. If you're a number one seed, you're supposed to be going in locked in on the task at hand. And who knows how this is going to play out. But I think this year, since Duke has a favorable pathway to San Antonio, Duke will and should stroll to the national championship with ease. Looking at the metrics of what a national champion's DNA is, Duke and Florida seem to be the favorites well above the rest of the field. Top offense, defense, and offensive rebounding have been the recipe in majority of championships won. Cooper Flagg, he's the best player in the country. Cooper Flagg is generational. I got to tell you, there was a confidence and a focus today. There was no doubt Cooper Flagg was ready to go. I look at him and I think he has a tremendous upside. I think he's a number one pick. Nothing but love for him, and this was just a reminder that he's the best player in this tournament. I take no pleasure in saying that his health was a big concern when he went up for a rebound, landed awkwardly, and rolled his ankle. He left in a wheelchair. That didn't look good. Turns out it was a Paul Pierce moment because look what he did today. Ankle holds up well in Duke's opening win. He had 14 points on 6 of 11 shooting, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks in about 22 minutes for Duke on Friday. I have a lot of admiration for him. We're going to look at this Duke team and think this is about him having his shining moment. There's a lot of people today who got a chance to see what this kid is all about and what he can do when he's on the floor. The most competitive and complete freshman Duke has ever had. We hear about the 5 stars and McDonald's All-Americans, but the biggest reason why Duke is so good is not only because they are talented, but because they play well together. They're so connected. I think everybody should fear Duke because with stars like Cooper Cup, Kaman, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Kaman, Mola Lich or whatever, however, Nipple, you know who I'm talking about, Tyrese Proctor, all those guys. Duke could be unstoppable if those guys show up. So I think in the context of this season, if we saw Duke win it all, I would not be surprised. I picked Florida to win it all, but Duke is just as talented and have guys who can play. I do know if I'm Duke, I'm coming into this feeling good about myself, and I'm going in of the mindset that I can outlast anybody in my path. That's how I'm approaching it. To me, I think the region that they're in, that it gives them the best shot of getting there. When you think about it, ultimately everything comes down to matchups. What it really comes down to in terms of matchups, the first order of business, can you beat anybody in your region? And again, I look at their region. You have to beat the team in front of you no matter what. Nobody in the world thought Mount St. Mary's had a chance. Duke won that game by 30 plus points. That was a cakewalk. Poor guys. Those little guys stood no chance. Duke beat the snot out of that St. Mary's school. You didn't have to worry about them. There's nobody they should feel concerned about, honestly. Anybody they face, who do you think is going to be tough? I don't think it would be the Arizona Wildcats. If you want to pick Duke to get upset, the Sweet 16 matchup versus Arizona might be one to keep an eye on. For me, I don't trust Arizona in March. And the last time Duke and Arizona saw each other, the Blue Devils beat them by 14 on the road. Listen, it's just amazing to me how many people would actually give Arizona a chance to knock off Duke. And look, the Wildcats are big. They have size. And you can say they're athletic enough to at least match up with Cooper Flagg. But Caleb Love would have to go nuclear to pull off this upset that I just can't envision. I want to say Alabama on this side of the bracket can present problems for Duke. Can they keep them out of the Final Four? Bama is one of the best offensive teams in the country, led by point guard Mark Sears, who gets it done in the clutch. Then we look at the Duke-Houston matchup. When you look at the Cougars, they can certainly hang with the Blue Devils and will bring the toughness, but Duke has too much firepower. Their defense clamps down late, and they will march on. I do think when they see Florida, this Florida squad is last year's UConn. The Gators battle, and I just believe when those two heavyweights collide in what should be a matchup for the ages, Florida will cut down the nets. This year's March Madness is going to be a true test of mental toughness and clutch performances. Duke makes an incredible run, but at the end of the day, Florida is dancing to the national championship. It's going to be some highly competitive basketball. It's going to be a lot of fun. and I'm all for it. All right, everyone. That concludes this video. It's great as always to hear from you guys, to have you guys come on and check out the content. Really, really appreciate it so much. Thank you guys. It is March. It is a wild time for college basketball. It is a fun time for college basketball, but I want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their night to check out my video. And if you want more of this stuff, if you want more content from me, if you want to join more of this stuff, then do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and stay connected with me. And you guys can also find me on TikTok, Sports Judge, the Sports Judge 85. You guys can find me on Instagram, Sports Judge 85 as well. And hope to hear from you guys very soon. Take care, everyone. Talk to you guys again soon. Have a good night.